Does your website not really do much for you? Is it something you avoid thinking about? Do you rarely get any messages from it? And is it just you and your mum who visits? Well, there's a better way to build a website. You need to be more cake. Welcome, Trailblazers, to the Annoyingly Optimistic Show, the prime hub for the most resourceful entrepreneurs and business owners who thirst for a diverse mix of knowledge, stimulation, and a touch of humour. I'm your host, Paul Inskip, ready to guide you on this adrenaline-charged expedition through the realm of business. Together, we'll traverse the intriguing terrain of ideas, dissect the codes of success, and present you with the effective strategies to worry less, make more, and be brilliant. I'm all ears to your feedback, so reach out and comment or drop me a message to share how this podcast has impacted you, sparked your inspiration, or offered a fresh viewpoint. Let's kickstart this annoyingly optimistic expedition together, and always keep in mind to worry less, make more, and be brilliant. Now let's be candid, folks. Websites weren't the shiny golden ticket that lured us into the thrilling roller coaster of running our own business. Often, the mere mention of the word website has the same effect as hearing nails on chalkboard. Websites are akin to those home repairs you swear you'll get to next weekend, but somehow always find a way to avoid. How often have you heard your fellow business owners discuss their own websites with a resigned sigh? It could use a little TLC, I just haven't found the time, or pardon the mess, it's under construction. If these phrases ring a bell, or you've muttered them under your breath yourself, then you're not alone. In fact, you're part of the majority, although not the kind you'd want to toast with a glass of bubbly. So let's switch gears and discuss something much more appetizing: cake. Yes, you heard it right, and no, you haven't accidentally stumbled across a foodie podcast. You may be thinking, what on earth has cake got to do with business? Well, allow me to explain. Picture a cake. A true culinary masterpiece boasting layers of fluffy sponge, decadent cream, and a lavish coating of frosting, the Sistine Chapel of patisserie. Now, if that imagery hasn't set your stomach rumbling, then I commend your self-control. Now, this delicious metaphor of a cake serves as the perfect analogy for your website, as a delightful cake requires the right ingredients, perfect measurements, and a sprinkling of patience. A successful website demands the same level of meticulous attention. The concept of being more cake is about adopting this systematic approach and established an effective recipe to create a website that is irresistible as a slice of your favorite cake. Now, before we don our chef's hats and dive into this recipe, let's be clear about what our intentions are. Your website wears many hats. It's an educator, a muse, a motivator. It's not just a digital business card. It must foster trust and goodwill with your audience. But perhaps most importantly, it's a professional objection handler. Now, when I say objections, I'm not talking about vehement protestations. Rather, it's the instinctive reluctance we, as notorious cake-eating people, decision-avoiding beings, have towards making commitments. The gaps in your website's information give rise to objections like, I'm not sure what the next step is. I don't know what it costs. I'm not sure if it's right for me. The structure of your website, therefore, needs to address these objections head on. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to transform these objections into irresistible calls to action. In order to bake this digital cake, or rather create this website, we're going to need the right ingredients. Now, each layer of your website, or if you prefer a more techie term, each section, needs 3 essential components: a title, the main content, and a consistent call to action. Now, getting the balance right in these layers is key. Too sweet, and it's overwhelming. Too dry, and it's uninteresting. We're striving for the Goldilocks standard, just right. Now, in the digital world, we don't use mixing bowls and whisks and get all covered in flour. We use wireframes. The wireframe, or the blueprint, serves as our guiding star. It helps us organize our content with the right style, tone, and approach to resonate with our audience. Skipping this step is akin to attempting to bake a cake without preheating the oven. A surefire recipe for a less than stellar result. And it's the key thing that so many people avoid and skip when creating their website. Now, to craft our website, we're going to need these ingredients. We're going to need the header. We're going to need the problem. We're going to need the solution, the plan, the prices, empathy and authority, the explanation, the video, the contact and lead magnet, and the footer. These are the layers of your website. Picture it like a cake stand. Starting from the top, the header is your cake topper. The first thing people see, the part which piques their interest. It's like a mini billboard telling your audience what you're all about. It's like a leaflet, a flyer. It brings everything together. Next comes the problem, your audience's pain point that you're here to address. Show them you understand their concerns and desires and demonstrate your capacity and capability to solve their problem. Then offer the solution, a soothing balm for the problem you've identified. The subsequent layers include the plan, guiding your audience to those important next steps, the prices to eliminate any guesswork, the empathy and authority to build trust through testimonials, accolades, and your own journey, and an explanation of what you do, including the handy and necessary FAQ section. Next, a compelling video. And after that, you've got a contact form and a lead magnet to reel in those prospective customers. And finally, the footer to catch any remaining crumbs and provide essential information. Now, when combined with the right strategy, these elements make a website that's easy to digest. It's fully satisfying and leaves your customers craving for another serving. Now, to give you a leg up with that big long list, I've whipped up a free comprehensive guide detailing what these layers entail, how to effectively use them, and how you can craft your own wireframe. These are the exact building blocks I've employed to construct hundreds of successful websites. Simply visit www.bemorecake.com and in under 2 minutes you'll be armed with the recipe for a website that truly takes the cake. Now, remember to keep your customers coming back for a second helpings and singing your praises. Your website needs to be a treat. Just as a cake satisfies the sweet tooth, a well-designed website meets the needs of your customers. The bottom line? Be more cake. And so, my irrepressibly positive pals, we've arrived at the end of yet another episode of the Annoyingly Optimistic Show, where I intersperse your day with a dose of positivity, ready or not. Yearning for more? Make sure to subscribe on your favourite podcast platform. It's like extending me a never-ending ticket to a joy jamboree in your earbuds, where everyone's invited and the celebration never ends. But please spare a moment to leave a rating and a comment. I'm all ears for your feedback, even if it's along the lines of, "Really, Paul? You're excessively joyful. Could you ease down on my laughter muscles?" Now, lastly, if you've got inquiries, riveting narratives, or can't curb your optimism, reach out to me via my website, worrylessmakemore.co.uk. I'm merely a touch away from adding even more luminosity to your day. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to sprinkle more sunshine on your lives in the next episode of the Annoyingly Optimistic Show. Until then, worry less, make more, and be brilliant.